You know what I
What
mean?
happens if we don't have a vision for our lives?
I think you have less direction. And so you make less progress because you can't make progress unless you have direction, because otherwise you're just moving. So like you can only have direct, like a vector, right? Movement in a direction if you know where you're trying to go. And so it's like the first thing we have to do is figure out where we're trying to walk.
You said you want to be a billionaire in 5 to 7 years, so you kind of see the math playing out that way.
Yeah.
Let's say you were forced to do it in half the time.
Yeah.
3 years, you were forced to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Or some catastrophic event would happen.
Yeah.
What would it take from you to reach the $1 billion goal in half the time? What would you need to do differently? And how would you need to think and act differently?
But then okay, how do I make a goal that and then once I have that goal, do the activities that make it unreasonable not to hit it? Like if I had to hit this goal, to your point, what level of activity would I have to do that it would be unreasonable? It would be unacceptable based on how I see reality that I would not achieve it. Okay, how long will it take me to get on 10,000 sales calls? Right?
A lot of time.
Yeah, a couple of years. Okay. So then that's a goal. You know what I mean? And I can set that, and if I do the activities, it would be unreasonable that I'm not. Now, realistically, you probably get there in half the time, right? Because you're probably pretty good at sales even after your first 2,000-3,000 calls, right? You're probably pretty good. And so with this, we would, what we're doing now is the only thing I could probably do is take on bigger companies. That would be the shortest path. But I feel confidently, in terms of how much we're stretching, I feel good about it. I would feel like I'd be taking on more risk to hit that, if that makes sense.
If you had to do it
Yeah.
in half the time with less risk,
Yeah, with less risk.
what would you need to do?
That's a good question.
What would need to happen? What would need to shift inside of you?
Yeah. I would need more people faster. It would just be...
How many people would you need?
I would spend more aggressively on talent acquisition. So I would basically go into, from the debt perspective, right? So rather than think of the businesses or the portfolio companies as cash flowing towards me, I would probably take all of the excess that is there and plow it into talent earlier. So right now I live on a certain amount of cash flow, et cetera, from just from the portfolio companies.